Welcome into the Shaker Show. This show's kind of different from our Tuesdays. If you are new, this list comes from our friends over at CovrPrice, focusing on new high sales or the most interesting sales found on their exclusive daily Shaker list. It changes several times every, so make sure to check it out to review some of the hottest trending books on the market. While you guys are all congregating, here's some music.
The baddest on the microphone apparatus is here. When I rock a rhyme, often eyes are dropping a tear. It's so beautiful, it's America's landscapes when this man makes lyrics like the syrups that you pour upon your pancakes. My mandate is to grip minds like a handshake. Spit Orlando Lakes and go skinny dip with the fan base. Over any damn breakbeat, I hastily make pastries tastier than anything that Wolfgang makes. So take notes out of suckers, I make coats, lump of some like Bubba Gump fishing on lake boats. I take jokes and turn the comedy into drama. I'm bagging on your mama, I'm Jeffrey Dahmer behind ya. I'm a rhyme writer, lock stock, smoking the ganja. Rebuttals befuddle, leaving a puddle of saliva, sillies. You couldn't handle Randall when I throw my grammar at you. It hit your head and you would think I threw a hammer at you. I point the camera at you like Herb Ritz. Develop it, then use the pictures to pick up bird shits. You're nervous as the impervious wordsmiths hanging out in Rafa's new crib come with the verses.
Thank you, Brando Park. Thank you, Laura, for the intro. Laura, say what's good to the people.
Hey guys, what's up? Yeah, this is the one I look forward to every week because this interesting list. Some of my people, and yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Definitely an offer list, I think. JB, say what's good to the kind people.
Proof of life on anyone that claims to have anything on this list.
JB has
and you know what? It happens all the time, though. People reach out to us and tag us on Instagram now, like, bam, proof.
Somebody bought it because it's on the CovrPrice.
It's on the list, right?
It wouldn't database, right? I mean, it wouldn't be on there unless there was. So,
absolutely. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Make sure you are commenting on the link I just dropped if you want to get in on the free giveaway at the end of the show, because you know we're going to be giving away some of Miss Laura's books tonight after the list.
She doesn't even know what she's giving away yet.
So make sure you comment on last Tuesday's top 10. We'd love to get your favorite cover, but really any comment. And yeah, sit back and relax. Tonight's show is going to be fantastic. It's a good one.
This is all sponsored by our friends over at CovrPrice.com for your price guides, collections, and trends. The top 10 we do every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific. And every Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific for the Cover Price Shaker Show. Our proud sponsor at Bird City Comics is a discount code of LOTLB to get 15% off any Bird City Comics exclusives. What are you dropping this week, Laura?
So I just actually did a post about this. We are doing a book thing epic, but what we did, or I should give Anthony credit, this was his idea, is we did a Howard the Dutch. It's 3D. So if you put on 3D glasses, his little feet pop out of the eggshell. It's a trip.
That's
Wait
awesome.
a minute. Wait, you did a 3D cover?
Yeah, like everybody was telling us it can't be done. You can't do it anymore. They don't do it. But Hal Lauren, the artist, was like, give me some time. Let me work with it. So he toyed with it and he got it to work
Is there
so
any other
well.
Easter eggs? Is there anything else that's popping out in 3D, or is it just his feet?
It's his feet, it's his hands, and
Is it a Marvel book or
it's Image. So something
Image?
epic. It's one of those stories like they integrate Spawn's one of the character. It's this kid and his imagination's the limit. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I put on the glasses today and tried it out. And every book that we sell for that, it's gonna be 250 print run. They're all going to include the 3D glasses with it.
Ooh,
I have a really
included.
weird 3D comic book. It's Romance in 3D, which I
Ooh.
got from it was a antique dealer set up in a parking lot, and he said, "I think you'd like this." And then little did he know that he had like a first appearance of the Watcher. So I was more interested in that. When I opened up the cover, the first appearance of the Watcher was signed by Stan Lee, and he didn't even know. So yeah, so I got a red label. That's a story for another time, boys and girls. But we're here to see what's shaking today. So let's start off. This is it's an alphabetical order. And I don't know really price thing per se, but let's get things started. What do you have for the first one?
All right, let's kick it off with Graphic Fantasy #1 from Ajax Comics from 1982. This book has a whole lot of history behind it. Just looking at the cover, you may recognize a distinct character that has been around for quite some time. That is the Savage Dragon, known as the Dragon in this book, and also his first appearance. But it wasn't always known as such. Back in the day, CGC denoted Megaton Man #3 as a first appearance of the dragon, but that was reworked and now marks this book as such, but maintains Megaton Man #3 is the first time the character is known as the Savage Dragon. Interesting. It's confusing, we know, but with a character that's been around as long as he has, things can get a little hectic. Most know the character from the Savage Dragon runs from Image Comics, a book written and illustrated by creator Eric Larson to this day. Incredible when you think about it, almost as incredible as the new high sale this book achieved. Recently, a CGC 6.0 came to market and sold for an astounding $2,500. It's hard to compare the sale in that grade as there are just so few. This self published book from Eric Larson had a reported rough print run of 300 copies. So naturally, few remain in circulation after 40 years. There are only 5 CGC census, and the most recent sale of a fellow graded book was a CGC 9.6. That was back in 2021 for $4,300. This most recent 6.0 surpasses every other graded sale until you hit that 9.6. For this book, the market appears to have been reset.
So you want to prove a life? Spider Guy Murph says he has a copy.
Damn, right off the bat, you guys guaranteed nobody would. See, our chat kicks up.
Right off the bat.
The chat was already lit before the show. I mean, this looks like a 12-year-old just drew a comic book, but basically what it looks like to me. I mean, it's not anything earth-shattering, but in 1982 for $2,500 for what, a 250 print run, that's pretty incredible.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but definitely put a life on that one. All right, so we go from another offer to another offer.
No way.
You can say the word.
No way. Yeah. Just no way. Next up, I don't even know if I'm saying this right. Die Antwoord.
Sure.
Die Antwoord. F everyone.
You can say the
number
fuck word.
1. I'm not saying it. It's on the script.
Die Antwoord. Fuck everyone.
Fuck everyone. Number 1. There you go. You happy?
Yes.
All right. The San Diego Comic-Con 2017 exclusive. Now, raw copy of Die Antwoord. Fuck everyone. San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, sold for a record price of $500 this week. Now, the comic, which is oversized 11.7 inches by 16.5 inches, is a collaboration between legendary artist Ashley Wood and the South African rap duo featuring Yolandi Visser and Ninja, known as Die Antwoord. I'm probably saying it
Jeez.
wrong. Now, the comic was sold at a special release party in San Diego during Comic Con 2017 and was limited to only 1,000 copies. Now, the book was only intended to be available to people at the release party, but was later made available online. They released a remix edition of the book a few months later, of which
Remix.
never seen a recorded sale of that book. Now, it is worth mentioning that another copy sold for $150 the day following the record sale of 500. We'll continue to see scarce books sell extremely well in a market that is overall still kind of soft.
Well, now I have to look it up. They're saying Fake Comics says they have some really weird, crazy music videos. Now I have to look up Die Antwoord, whichever that is. So add that to the things that TiVo should watch. Add that as their recommended things. I know it was early in the show, but I want to. Last night I watched it, so you should watch it. It's called Death Ride with Nicolas Cage. It's like,
when do you sleep?
At like 3 a.m. So I don't know how I ended up on this Nick Cage film where he plays somebody that comes from the dead, it comes back, and he just kills everybody. There's there's cults in there, there's boobage in there, there's just killing in there. But I think it's called Death Ride, and it's just a visual feast for the eyes. I mean,
I'm not finding this. I'm looking it up as you talk, and I don't see it.
Death Ride.
The Nicolas Cage movie.
Nicolas Cage Death Ride. Someone in the chat's got to know what we're talking about. Is this, and by the way, I'm confused, TiVo. Is this the things that we should be watching or things that we should not be watching? And then
Drive Angry. I'm sorry. It's called Drive Angry. My bad. You should be watching it.
We should be watching. Okay.
Yes. You should be
watching it.
It has
Amber Heard in it. Oh.
Yes. Yeah. Some very interesting casting done on that, but it's just she does a pretty good job in it. So but yeah. What did I say? Drive Angry. It's worth a watch if you will find it. And I don't know how I ended up on it. So Die Antwoord, fuck everyone. Issue number 1 to San Diego Comic-Con 2017 special for 500 bones and a raw dog. All right, what do we have for the next one?
Okay, this one I know we're gonna end up playing that clip. EverQuest: The Ruins of Knark, DC, 2002. So EverQuest is a massively multiplayer online role-playing game, MMORPG, if you want to say it shortly, I guess. That was first released in 1999. Developed by Sony Online Entertainment, the game takes place in a high fantasy world called Norath, where players can create their own characters and embark on quests, battles, and adventures with other players from around the world. EverQuest was one of the pioneers in the MMORPG genre, I'm going to say it that way, and has a dedicated player base even after more than 2 decades after its launch. It paved the path for MMORPG. Is that how you say this? Am I saying that completely wrong? It's MMORPG, right? MMORPG doesn't make sense.
I don't know. TiVo's trying to tell us, but he's muted.
Yeah, it's a massive role-playing thing, kind of like
But how do you say the acronym? Do you say it by letter or is it just
you say it by letters?
Oh, all right. It paved the path for mega MMORPG hits like the World of Warcraft's release in 2004. EverQuest has undergone many updates and expansions over the past 20 plus years, including the release of a mobile version in 2020. However, we're here to talk about comic books. This issue features the first comic book appearance of the decade-spanning franchise. While this week's sale of $310 for a CGC 9.8 marks a new high for this EverQuest key, it's a bit of a steal as there are only 11 copies on the CGC census, with 5 being a 9.8. Right now, available raw copies are all reasonably priced at or under $40, but they're nowhere near abundant. It's absolutely a book to pay attention to. There aren't many EverQuest comics, and some are crazy rare, like this franchise's rarest book, EverQuest Online Adventures: The Quest for Darkpaw. Only 1 copy has ever come up for sale, selling for $1,690 raw. This rarity was a promotional comic provided on the PlayStation website for those who pre ordered the 2003 PlayStation 2 MMORPG release of EverQuest Online Adventures, EQOA. For many console gamers, this specific version of EverQuest was their hands on exposure to online gameplay, a common addition to most of today's popular games. EQOA was so successful that it took almost 10 years for Sony to finally shut down the online game in 2012, a year before PlayStation 4. That's quite the lifespan of any online game. Yet the main franchise continues to live on, and it's celebrating its 24th anniversary with a full 2023 development roadmap of releases and events. Happy anniversary, EQ.
Wow, well done, touche.
Wow.
That was very well read. Yeah, I remember EverQuest
Sweating over here.
was like video game crack to people. It was like people were obsessed with that game. They would just be on it forever and ever and ever. This is in the days of dial-up, right? If you had a cable modem, you were like ahead of the competition. Like when I was in my early 20s, I had a roommate that was that used to smoke meth and stay up all night playing EverQuest and the what's that Command and Conquer one, the role playing game. I was like, my God! And I remember this is the days of AOL dial-up. That's how far back we go. But he was like a massive geek, and then I found out he was a raging meth head. So that just added to the mystique of the story. There you go. So EverQuest, the Runes of Kunark. From DC from January 2020 2002 for $310.
Cut off her hair, TiVo.
Yeah, and is that Jim Lee that did the cover? It looks like it says Jim Lee did it. Yeah, but that's pretty gnarly, man. I'm digging it. All right, what do you have for next one?
I like this.
Well, all right. Well, next up we've got Hulk issue number 16. I think you got a typo in there, TiVo. Hulk issue number 16. Yeah. The Ed McGuinness Deadpool 1 in 200 variant, originally published in 2009. Why is it that books that feature a scantily clad Deadpool seem to always fetch a high price? Well, that's unknown. But the most recent sale of this book appears to be maintaining that trend. Hulk number 16 is mostly known as the first appearance of Red She-Hulk. That's often what fans tend to pick it up for. But others covet this incredibly hard to find 1 in 200 variant cover from Ed McGuinness. We only have 19 sales in our database. Why? Well, mostly scarcity, as hardly any retailers were ordering 200 copies of this book. Now, hindsight's 2020, and no one knew back in 2009 how much hype would surround the Red Hulks a little over a decade later. Yet, here we are, and this book has seen a steady rise over time until now. Now, it took a massive jump as a recently reported no-grade raw sale came to market and quietly sold for $800.
Damn!
That is the highest raw sale recorded by $450 and even surpasses every graded sale, including an all-time high sale of $760 for a CGC 9.8 secured back in 2020. Heck, a 9.6 sold on the same day, just hours apart, for under $600. Now, one lucky fan got a truly rare book and may have an inkling they can secure a higher grade than a 9.8. That's quite an ambition, if true, but if and when that day comes, remains to be seen.
I remember all the spec from this back in 2009, first appearance, of Red Hulk, but this is Red She-Hulk.
Red She-Hulk.
And then, Thunderbolt Ross was being cast, so he's supposed to be the Red Hulk. And now, if we go full circle, Harrison Ford is going to be playing Thunderbolt Ross now. And supposedly, his daughter, who was in the Hulk film, is going to reprise her role. Was it, who was it? Jennifer Connelly, I want to say. Was that who his daughter was?
Well, yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know. It depends on which version you're talking about.
The Ed Norton Hulk.
Ooh, I don't know what her name. I think it was. I think you're right.
Yeah, I want to say.
Like,
Someone in
Fun
the
fact.
chat will know. Someone in the chat.
Liv
Liv
Tyler.
Tyler.
Yeah, Liv
Is it
Tyler.
Liv
That's it.
oh,
Tyler?
damn, they do
Yeah,
look
Liv
similar,
Tyler.
though. So,
Yeah,
See,
they
the
do.
chat's
So
awesome.
here's why Jennifer Connelly popped in my head. The voice of Friday in Iron Man's suit is voiced Jennifer Connelly.
oh,
What?
So go full circle. Yeah. So after a while, remember it used to be the voice of what's his name? Ultron, or excuse me, Vision, right? And then
Jarvis.
Jarvis. Yeah, it was Jarvis's voice. So then Jarvis became became the Vision, and then he replaced it with Friday. If you watch Avengers, I forgot Avengers Endgame or the first one, Infinity Gauntlet, he goes Friday, blah blah blah, and that's when Friday comes into it. Believe it or not, and Friday is an acronym for something. I don't know what it is. Somebody in the live chat will know what it is, but yes, she was hot in Career Opportunities. Oh my god, so hot. She was also awesome in The Rocketeer, which is way ahead of its time. Go full circle. I was just watching something you should watch that I just watched.
Here he goes.
Was Master and Commander Far from the Sea or something like that, and it stars what's his name? Stars what's his name? We were just talking about him. God, Paul Bettany, as well as Russell Crowe. Go full circle. Russell Crowe was Zeus in the MCU, and Paul Bettany was Vision in the MCU. And I just watched it. It's like an old time. It's like warfare, maritime warfare from like the 1500s, right? Muskets and sailboats and all that good stuff between France and England. So it's worth a watch. It's probably really underappreciated. There's not much. I mean, it's the funny thing is they had like kids that were going to war that were like 10 years old that were captains on this French fighter or French frigate, British frigate. But if you ever want to know Master and Commander, that's your 6 degrees of separation there. Paul Bettany and Russell Crowe were both in that. So there you go. So we go from Hulk number 6 at McGinnis, Deadpool 1 and 200 to definitely an offer.
yeah, this one I've never even heard of this. So here we go. Rise of the Black Panther number 1, Joe Sinnott Adventure Station, signed by Stan Lee with DNA Solvent Inc. from 2018. The great Stan Lee passed away on November 12th of 2018. His legend is notably massive in both comics and pop culture. His MCU cameos and gleeful chants of Excelsior, are greatest. Yet his last few years were heartbreaking when news of Lee's former business associate was charged with elder abuse, grand theft, and false imprisonment. In 2022, a judge dismissed theft charges after a deadlocked jury. The charges of elder abuse and false imprisonment were also dismissed before the trial. Yet many fans remember those last years of Stan's difficulties during signings and events, and they continue to persist on those accusations. When it comes to this specific book, that controversy continues. Oh, wow. Function with Lee's charity Hands of Respect, these hand-stamped signatures utilize Stan Lee's solvent DNA ink that were certified, authenticated, and numbered with certificates of authenticity, and was sold exclusively at the Marvel's Avengers station in Las Vegas. Many reported that Stan's blood was stolen via a forged medical document and then used to make this black, blue, and gold ink specifically stamped on this Black Panther cover by Joe Sinnott. The early controversy around these DNA signatures pushed market prices well over $500. Blowing my mind. Despite the various accusations, lack of proof, and charge dismissals, the controversy still lingers. It also made this a notorious collectible that sold for $349 raw this week. While this isn't an all-time high, it is worth noting that they are getting very hard to find, with current list copies asking for thousands. What? I got nothing here. What do you guys say to that?
Yeah, I remember when this all happened with the Stanley stuff. King of the Golden State also has a story too. I mean, he was at Silicon Valley Con where they basically were like had to prop him up to sign things. I saw him later in life also when it was still Stanley Kamikaze, and he was barely able, and they were just, and all the people were to blame with this. They were just horrible people, the Stanley Collectibles people, and then his lawyers that did that Avenger Station place in Las Vegas who supposedly it's Stan Lee's blood in his ink. You know, if you ever think about that
That's what
Kiss
this
magazine,
is.
right?
DNA solvent.
That's
This is
what this
nutso.
is. Yeah, that's exactly
This
what
is
this is.
nutso, man. Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, Google it. It's worth a Google. It's they really kind of, you know, and then his crazy daughter got involved, and you know, it's nuts. But anyway, kind of apropos
I
that
don't like
it's
it.
from sold on April Fool's Day, right? Rise of the Black Panther #1, the Jules Sinat Avenger Station, signed with Stanley's blood. All right, here's something, but look closely. It's not what you think.
Yeah, you got to look closely. But before we get to this, I just want to mention to the 102 strong in the live chat. Come on, man. Take a moment, hit the thumbs up, and make sure you drop a comment on this Tuesday's top 10 to get entered in to the giveaway that we're going to be doing after this list here. Miss Laura is going to give away some books.
Yay.
All right. Next up, we've got The Saga of Swamp Thing, issue number 37. But wait, it's the Canadian Price variant, originally published in 1985. Now, scarcity and rarity seem to always add up to the same thing in the comic book community: record sales. Case in point this week, the Saga Swamp Thing issue number 37 Canadian Price variant. Raw, high grade, regular 75-cent issue sells in the $500 range. This week, we saw a high grade 95-cent Canadian variant top $1,000. Clearly, collectors are still interested in this niche market. Canadian Price variants demand a premium as so many fewer copies were printed for the Canadian market. Those committed to hunting down these copies expect to pay a serious premium to add them to their collections. This issue features the first appearance of John Constantine, a much beloved character in the comic universe who has also made his silver screen debut, played by none other than Keanu Reeves. Now, talk of a sequel to the 2005 cult classic Constantine film is still in the works, and at this time, DC is still committed to making it happen. Regarding this price variant, there are only a handful of issues that have sold in the past few years, with a CGC 9.0 selling for just under $700 in October of 2021, and a CGC 7.5 hitting $300 in June of 2022. Now, very low-grade copies have sold for $200 and $250 respectively. What do you guys think of the Canadian Price variant?
Damn, Russ Diehard is like really hard on his prime minister, man. What man Trudeau do against you? I thought he was a kind of a handsome devil myself, but so you know, people always argue that price aren't variants, but I would say anything that's a variation of a regular cover is a variant, and if the price is different, then it's a price and it's a variant. Just like if you see a no logo, or if you see Mark Jeweller's insert, they're different because there's something different on the cover to deviate. It variants. That's where the word variant comes from. There you go. So there you go. But I would say, yeah, that Constantine film is very underrated, and I also love his interpretation of him on the animated films like Justice League Dark, done by the blonde British actor, or is he Australian? One of the two. But I always love Justice League Dark. If you haven't seen Justice League Dark on HBO Max, TiVo recommends you go and see it. That's another TiVo, absolutely sponsored by nobody.
Actually, TiVo Constantine.
Is it?
See, I was
he
saying
talks about this in the comics. He's like, people always say my name wrong. It's Constantine, like Clementine. Which bothered me because Keanu Reeves actually did an interview and he was saying, "Oh, I would love to, reprise my role as Constantine." I was like, "You would think he would have been like coached on how to say that, right?"
I think Laura just only brought that up because of this.
Herb Ervlinger, Bert Hermgeim, Irv Hermlinger, Bing Livehanger, Livelink, Bert Herkern, Bingo Lingfucker.
Lingfucker. That's part of that clip. Damn it.
That's the best part.
That's the best one. That is us. That's the Shaker Show. That's the CovrPrice top 10. That's everything, man. So Saga to Swamp Thing, issue number 37, the Canadian 95-cent price variant, $1,001. Somebody bid. You got to be sick to your stomach if you're the one that bid $1,000. Got outbid by $1, right? Because 1,001 seems very specific. All right, we go from Saga to Swamp Thing to something a bit more sexy.
Yes, this is beautiful. Sally Forth, number 8. This is the Adam Hughes cover from 1995. Is it Fantagraphics? Fanta? We'll say Fanta.
Share.
Yeah, that's it.
It's
Share.
either that or Fanta, but I think Fanta
No, it's
sounds more
Fanta.
like what you
Do
would
you want the
hear.
fan.
Fanta?
I'm a
Fanta?
fan.
Do you want just think of Fanta? Fanta? Yeah, just think of that commercial.
Do you remember those commercials?
Yeah.
That's me stuck in my head now. 1995. Adult comics seem to be far more prevalent than ever today. However, this is nothing new to the comic book industry. Some of the more obscene and sexual comics go back to the boom of independent comics in the 70s. While today's popular adult comics are receiving plenty of attention on various online and app based marketplaces, most adult comics were once kept off to the side or underneath convention tables in dusty and rarely accessed long boxes. Yet they do
Mhm.
contain some significant fun finds, as many of today's top artists produced early work from many of these notorious issues. For example, Sally Forth is one of those very adult comics. This popular cover features the cover art by a young Adam Hughes and is arguably considered one of his best covers. Collectors of Hughes have helped this jump in price over the past couple of years. This week, it sold for $304 for a very fine negative, very fine minus raw copy, just a
Oh,
tad
you almost
under
got
the
it there.
all-time high. What?
Oh, we almost got you there saying negative.
I know. I
Yeah,
fixed it.
VF minus. All right.
I steered back on VF minus.
Mhm.
Yeah. An all time high of $316 for a very fine near mint copy in 2021. Finding one of these will be challenging as you'll have to go digging in some seedy places with no judgment, of course. And the only reason I said minus is because, like, or negative, I get them. I don't know. When I read it, I don't hear it in my head until I say
Yeah.
it. Anyways.
So I have a CD, a long box, and that's no pun intended. So I have a story where I was at a convention. I think it was Anaheim, WinterCon, and my
Okay.
LCS had a booth there, and he had a box of porn mags underneath his box, and he goes, "Yo," he goes, "Take these." I said, "I don't want to." He goes, I mean, it was literally like the 40-year-old virgin. He goes, "I don't want your big box of porn," so I had to walk around. I said, "Yeah, I'll take them." So in there's a bunch of like Hustler Comics and Penthouse Comics, and sure enough, Adam Hughes does a. I have one of his covers. I don't know if I sold it or not. I think I may have sold it, but I still have a run up on Penthouse Comics. That were a lot of industry guys got their start in. Art Adams, I want to think of what as another one, and some other cats that did it. But Adam Hughes definitely. If you can tell that, you can always tell Adam Hughes the cover by the outline. He does really thick outlines when he draws the art. That's why Adam Hughes' internal art isn't as good as the cover art. That's just if you just look at it. I mean, and plus, I was talking to like Trish Forstner, was that her name?
Yes.
About this, and there's like, you know what? I was like, she goes, yeah, she goes, yeah, we can get paid just to do covers. Why do we need to do internals? And I stopped short of saying, yeah, it's a young man's game. And I was like, so yeah, it's a young person's game. I just walk up, but she did sign my book for me. So that was cool. So, so shout out to her. So Sally Forth, issue number 8 from Fantagraphics 1995 for $304 for a raw, very
cool.
fine negative. All right. What do we got? What the next one? There's another good fun one.
Ugh.
Oh, this is a good one. Next up, we've got Space Ghost, issue number 1, originally published in 1967. Now, this book marks the first appearance of Space Ghost, an intergalactic crime fighter from Ghost Planet. Created by Hanna-Barbera as a television series for CBS, Space Ghost would go on to have a long and storied history. Debuting in 1966, Space Ghost was a light-hearted animated show that drew in a large crowd. Numbers were good, and execs did what you always did back then and give them a comic series. Thus, this book was born and it quickly died. Envisioned mostly as a one-shot. He returned the next year, though, in Hanna-Barbera Super TV Heroes issue number 3. While he was never a hero that garnered millions of fans, he certainly had his fans. Enough so would earn several more comic runs, television shows, one-shots, and more. But what he is most known for is his show on the Cartoon Network, Space Ghost Coast to Coast, where he garnered a whole new generation of fans. Now, one such fan recently opted to secure his first appearance in comics when they picked up a CGC 8.5 for $1,098, a jump of $337 from its previous all-time high of $761 in that grade. Now, this most recent sale has nearly caught up to the all-time high sale, which is $1,275 garnered on a CGC 9.2. Now, it's tough to say if that trajectory can continue, but if it does, we'll be sure to cover it. Get it?
Yeah. So interesting
But,
factoid about Space Ghost is goes full circle. Cover Price was at WonderCon last year or 2 years ago, and my boy Gabe and I, Gabe also is Gabe's Loves Comics is on the Wizard podcast, by the way. If you haven't checked that out, it's definitely worth it. They go through old Wizard magazines and stuff. Shout out to Gabe, who's part of the Lord's family. We met the guy who bought the IP for all the Gold Key characters. Now, I don't know where the IP for Space Ghost is right now, if it's in purgatory, but there's a lot of stuff that he has that the other companies already have a lock on. If you think about, Turok and some other weird Gold Key issues that, and then so he was telling me, and I was introducing him, and I was talking to him with Gabe, and we were talking to the guys from CovrPrice at their booth, actually, at the CovrPrice panel. They had a panel that they discussed CovrPrice, and I was in the front row, and they actually showed me in the slide during the show. So that was cool. So there you go, man. That's my 2 degrees of separation, so to say. All right. So Space Ghost #1 from Western Comics, 1967. Only $1,000 and an 8.5. You'd think it would be more. You think people would be buying it up more? Or why hasn't it been developed? Who has an IP for Space Ghost right now? That's what I want to know. All right, let's get to another offer.
Oh, I want this one so bad too. Startling Comics #49 from 1948, published by Pines. You may have stumbled upon this entry and thought, wow, that cover looks incredibly familiar. Well, you'd be right. This book is a beloved Golden Age comic, mostly for its cover. It's a book people have searched their whole lives for, and is some of the most famous work from cover artist Alex Schomburg, outside of his work on Captain America and the Submariner. That said, the robot gracing that cover looks suspiciously like Bender from Futurama, which creator Matt Groening has neither confirmed nor denied that this book was the inspiration. Regardless, it's a coveted book and often demands a premium price whenever it changes hands. Recently, it did just that as a CGC 2.0 came to the market, the first in a long while, and sold for an astronomical $7,800. The last time it sold in that grade was back in 2018 for $3,600, a whopping difference of $4,200. This book consistently fetches new high prices anytime it comes to market, which is admittedly rare, as it pops up maybe once or twice a year. Outside of a few scattered sales, this dwarves all previous sales up to a CGC 6.5 that sold for $7,750 back in early 2020. It's just one of those famous classic covers that collectors pine for, and if they can afford it, make it theirs when the opportunity arises.
JB.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
JB, do we ding her for the way she pronounced Groening?
No. Miss Laura can pronounce
I think I
anything
said
she
groaning.
wants, any way she wants.
Yeah. All right. So
That was groaning when I said that.
Yeah. So Startling Comics issue 49 from Pines, 1948, $78 and a 2.0. I know there's some people that collect strictly like robot covers, from the Golden Age, and you would think there's not a lot of them, but there's quite a few of them. There's like
quite a ton of them.
There's a ton of them. But there's definitely a niche market. We're going to see what's shaking last, boys and girls. We don't go away. We're going to see what's shaking today, and we're going to give away some of Laura's stuff. So what do we have for the last one?
All right, this is the last one on the list, folks. Before we get to it, as TiVo mentioned, we're giving away books, so don't take off quite yet. I know we got 111 in the chat, but we don't have 100 thumbs up yet. So come on, folks. Take a moment, hit the thumbs up. All right, this is it. Last one. At number 10, we've got Warren Special Edition, The Lord of the Rings, originally published in 1979. Now, Warren Special Edition Lord of the Rings is an official authorized magazine published in 1979 to commemorate the 1978 cartoon feature film adaptation by Ralph Bakshi. Probably mispronouncing that. Sorry, sir. Now, rather than being in traditional comic book format, it is instead a retelling of the story with artwork from the movie. It also contains an introduction to modern mythology and fantasy, short profiles on the leading characters Gandalf, Frodo Baggins, Bilbo Baggins, Aragorn, Legolas, and Boromir.
Very well done.
Now I'm going to butcher this guy's name again. An interview with Bakshi and biographical sketches of Saul Zentz, film producer, and J.R.R. Tolkien. The cover art is by Tim Jung. No wonder you saved this one for me. How many names are in this? Read.
I know.
Cover
I
art is
avoided
by
this on
Tim
purpose.
Jung, taken from the original movie poster. This fabulous oversized offering has flown under the radar for quite some time, and higher grade raw copies consistently have been available in the $100 to $150 range. This might soon change, as we saw a CGC graded 8.5 tip the scales at $500 this past week.
I remember when Lord of the Rings was required reading in grade school. And I remember there was an animated movie way before there was a real live action movie. And
I
there was
did not
a
know
song
that. That's so
stuck in my
cool.
head. It was called Frodo of the Nine Fingers in the Ring of Doom. Google it, it's worth the thing, but it's this crazy back then the way they animated things was it just kind of like they just kind of over highlighted like live action stuff. Like famously back, she also did Fire and Ice, if you remember those, or Wizards is another one that they did. But yeah, I can't believe that this was required reading from back in the day. I mean, this was absolutely bonkers. But Warren Special Edition, Lord of the Rings, from 1979, and 8.5 or 500 bones. All right, JB,
Cool.
the floor is yours.
The floor is like, well, I'm going to drop it one more time. I'm dropping the link one last time. This is this Tuesday's top 10 list, and we're looking for a comment. We were hoping for, your favorite book from that list, but you know what? Any comment will do. We're going to use the random comment picker here and choose a comment from that show, and we're going to give away a book. Now, keep in mind, when this show ends, you want to comment on this show afterwards, not in the live chat, but afterwards, what your favorite comic book cover was, or any comment, to be entered into next Tuesday's giveaway. Do you see how it works? It's Thursday, Tuesday, Tuesday, Thursday thing. So since we dropped the link here, let's give the fans in the live chat, who were fantastic tonight. You guys have been amazing, dropping the knowledge on us. We're going to give you a little while to go ahead and drop a comment on that while TiVo plays a little break music. What have you got for us?
Okay.
I'm here at Barry Island Beach, and there's no sign to stop.
That was crazy. Dude.
I don't want to play it for too long. We get a new order.
Yeah, we don't want to get a little ding on that one. All right, let's see. But now, before the show started, we had 39 comments. Let's see how many comments we have now.
Wait, JB, what was hitting her in the face? It looked like a rabbit.
It was a fish. It was a fish. Someone threw a fish in her face.
It's from a British TV show. It was like a little bit that they did. It's worth a Google.
65. We've got 65 comments now. Are we ready to just jump right into this? Let's just pick a winner. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. So for a some random book that Miss Laura will pick for you.
Ooh, okay. I get to pick this one. All right.
You get to pick the book. You get to pick it this time.
I get to pick it.
Scott Be Real. Scott Be Real. Congratulations. Eternals shout out.
Yay.
All right.
With the comment. Eternals shout out with a comment. Scott Be Real taking down the win.
All
Congratulations
right,
to you.
We'll have to hit him up, have him message me or something like that. Or do you want him to message you, Laura, or how should
No,
we do
I
this?
want to do this one. So Scott, message me on Instagram at Mrs. Bird City, and I'll pick like what I think you'll like.
There you go. That is a lot
There
of
you go, Scott.
All right. Let's go see what's shaking today, boys and girls. Is a seamless
It was
transition.
seamless. That is production quality at its finest right there.
I know, right? It's a shame I don't do memberships on this channel. This is the weekly top 10 we cover every Tuesday. Also, this is the movers highest units sold. Indigo Children and the ambassadors. Jeff, what the fuck? It's Jeff the Shark.
Who's Jeff?
I have no idea, but we're here to hear what's shaking today, boys and girls.
Are you showing off on the? Are you showing off on the top row? Let's see.
Just two.
Yeah, just two. Just two.
FF is dad. FF number 1 3.0 for 15 grand, but we're here for the weird shit, man. Look at this.
Hey Tito, have you ever had an opportunity to buy an FF1?
I think so. They were in the low 3.0s. You can get it for like 4 or 5 grand, but not anymore.
I almost bought a 1.8 once.
Yeah, that ship has sailed, man. Same as Amazing Fantasy 15. That ship has sailed too. But here's Weird Science Fantasy Annual number 1 from EC. How awesome is that?
That's a awesome cover.
2600 for 4.5, man. That's it. Come on now. EC pre-code horror. You guys are just slipping, man. What the hell is this? Eternal Mania.
No, there's a key.
Issue number 1, Metropolis Publishing.
No, there's something key about that.
1986 is very early prototype.
Someone in the chat's gonna know. Somebody in the chat, tell me what the hell is up with Turtle Mania. If you're watching this on the rewind and you know what's going on with Turtle Mania, please drop it in the comments.
I love turtles. Daredevil number 1, CGC 2.0. Something I just watched again that you may or not want to watch is Daredevil. It was on late last night, and you know what? What it wasn't so bad, man. I'm not, I don't hate it. The extended cut is a better film than I would say the theatrical cut. But you get to see Jennifer Garner kick some serious ass as Elektra. And Matt Murdock as Ben Affleck as Matt Murdock, doing his thing. I would always say that is the best time that they have depicted Daredevil's sonar is in that Daredevil film, where he goes down the subway to the subway train and he hits the rail and the sonar bounces off everything and he can see it. Another scene also is when it rains on Elektra, it kind of puts visuals to his sonar so you can see what she looks like.
Yeah, that was kind of cool scene. Yeah, I agree with that.
Oh man, Cyber Frog.
What the hell?
I don't care about Ethan Van Sciver, so we'll leave it at that. Oh, look at this.
Ooh.
All top 15 comics. All top comics, issue number 15. Look at that. That's definitely what's her name? Page, right? Betty Page. You get a Betty Page vibes from this?
Oh yeah, definitely. Plus, look, you don't sleep on the Black Panther down there in the corner too.
Yeah,
man.
I see him, but
she's wearing a giraffe.
She's got a knife in her hand. She's about to go.
She's about to go ape.
Yeah,
she's about to go ape on that monkey. All right,
monkey. What's up with the peanuts?
How'd we go from a bikini girl to the peanuts? Oh, I gotta love it. 4-Color Comics number 878, the 15-cent variant from 1942. This is some time machine shit here. How do you get a 15-cent variant from 1942? $800 in a 3.0. Wow. Come on now. My man Charles, look at that. He's sitting on Snoopy watching TV.
It's perfect.
I never understood this kid. He only had like the one piece of hair. I don't get it. Was he bald? I never understood that.
I want to get me a shirt like he used to wear, the yellow with the thing across it. Our Flag Comics introducing the Unknown Soldier, the Defender of Liberty. 792 and a Raw Dog 792. Another thing, Table Watch, that you should definitely watch is there's a documentary on YouTube, and it talks about the soldiers that guard the tomb of the unknown soldier. I had the privilege of going to Washington D.C. and we saw the changing of the guard during winter.
Yeah,
So it was just
same.
like in Arlington National Cemetery. The guards are very stoic. They don't say anything. There's always some stupid ass tourists would say something stupid, and that's when the guards would tell them, "Shut the, hey, pay some respect." It's interesting the whole story about that if you follow it on the story of it. Here we go. Star Wars.
Get into that Star
Mara
Wars.
Jade. I'm digging that. Star Wars Mara Jade by the Emperor's Hand. Mara Jade hasn't shown up yet. I do believe she married to like Han Solo or somebody. I want to say she was somebody. She was married to somebody at one point in the Dark Horse comics. So some in the live chat hit up.
Where's Nemesis? Oh wait, he's probably selling Star Wars comics on whatnot right now as we speak.
Yeah, let me see. I'll tell you right now, man. This is gonna drive me. That's Mara Jade. Husband.
Man, there's a lot of evergreen here, man.
Luke Skywalker. I stand corrected.
So
she was actually
14, Thor 337. These are all just classics.
So she was actually in. She was Luke Skywalker's ex-wife or girlfriend or whatever. So that's there you go. It wasn't Han Solo. It was Luke Skywalker. I stand corrected.
Yeah,
all right,
pulling it down.
Yeah, man. Iron Fist there. Silver Surfer. I've seen this stupid hero trade.
What is
book.
that?
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that.
No.
Speaking of Ghost Rider, Spider-Gwen. Oh, Uncharted, Kanto.
All right, go to Kanto 1. Go to Kanto 1 real quick too when you get a chance, and then we come back to the love thing. So, tell me if I'm wrong on this. I originally heard, and I don't think someone in the chat's going to correct me. I'm assuming because that's what they like to do. That Kanto, the property was purchased by basically the Will Smith and his wife that own a production company.
I did not know.
So
no,
we should reach out to Drew and ask. He'll respond.
So if that's still in the works, that was all prior to him falling off the map and whacking homie in the face. But
I thought it was that, or I thought it was the guy.
Yeah, there it is. Zombie Prophet says Will Smith killed the spec.
Oh man, too bad. Poor old Kanto.
I'm asking Drew. I'm curious what he'll say. He'll respond pretty quick. Maybe there's some alternative. I love the way he does his artwork, though. Very clever use of negative space with the black, and I think it's become kind of
absolutely
iconic.
Yeah, very well.
And TiVo owns this book. TiVo, question for you: that X-Men right now, the one with the Frankenstein that's not Frankenstein?
Mm-hmm.
That's not Frankenstein. That's a robot. I'm just saying.
Yeah, because there's also another version of Frankenstein in that's not part of the 616.
That's definitely Frankenstein, JB.
That's
really?
Not Frank. No, read the comic.
I don't have this comic. Otherwise, I totally would.
So I have the other one as well, which features the actual classic Universal Frankenstein monster. That's a Marvel comic as well.
Okay.
But I always post that during Halloween. I always throw it up there just to mess with people. Speaking of Hercules. All right, Journey into Mystery Annual #1, first appearance of Hercules and Olympus, and I go full circle. I talked about Master Commander, starring who? Russell Crowe, who stars as Hercules' father, Zeus, in Thor: Love and Thunder.
Of Zeus, horrible adaptation of Zeus.
Boom! You see what I did there? All right. Well, the dude who actually plays him is awesome. Have you ever seen the what's that?
He was only in at the end screen credit, right?
Yeah.
So
but the guy that plays him was Brett something. He was in the Ted Lasso. That's what I say. Yeah, he was Hercules was the guy that was in Ted Lasso. He was one of the funniest things, but to me he seemed like a bit small compared to how Zeus is portrayed in the comics, but the character that he plays in Ted Lasso is absolutely fucking hilarious. He's deadpan, but there's Google the thing Ted Lasso bad breath. That's all I want you to do. Go on YouTube, look for Ted Lasso bad breath scene, and it talks about him Ted this guy's niece and how bad her breath is, and they go around to every house on the block. Is figured somebody's got to be a dentist on. Somebody will open a door and fix your bad breath, and it was absolutely freaking hilarious. Just tell asshole bad breath. That's all you need to know right there. All right, we're done, boys and girls. Is that it? We're not giving away any more stuff. Or we're done.
No, we're done. We're done. That's it.
All right, man.
Next giveaway is on Tuesday. That's it. Next giveaway is on Tuesday. Make sure to comment on this show when it's over to get entered into next Tuesday.
Yeah. Laura, any last words?
Yeah, you guys have a happy Easter. It's Sunday, so
holy cow. I totally forgot
be
about
safe.
that. Wow.
Spend time with your family. Tomorrow's Good Friday, so again, have a nice relaxing weekend and just enjoy.
Have your peeps. Because
Yeah.
they don't ever make new ones. They just circle them and they just circle around like Twinkies. They never go away.
I don't like peeps. I like black jelly beans though, which nobody else does.
Oh,
I know it's always
like
what
black
everybody
jelly beans. Those are
love. Love them. And I like
man.
good in planes though. So
I just had recently is sweet and sour patch popcorn. Oh my god. Talk about teeth rotting experience, but it's definitely
your dentist hates you.
Yeah, exactly. Not anymore. I can do that.
Perfect.
Hey, JB, any last words?
As always, thanks to everybody who joined us tonight. I appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us. We really do appreciate the live chat and the rewind crowd and the Weave Ryan crowd who comes through with all those likes. Yeah. We appreciate you. And, shout out to 3 Men in a Basement for sending me this t-shirt. Yeah. And any channel that wants to send me a t-shirt, I'll throw it on during the show and shout you out at the end. I appreciate that. I wear size extra large now. I'm just saying.
JB will go topless on TV just for a shirt.
Right? I'm still trying to get my CovrPrice shirt, man. I've been trying to get this CovrPrice.
I got
shirt
2 of
for
them.
a long time now.
I got 2 too. That's funny.
They're really nice and soft too. They're super soft.
They are.
Yeah.
They're
you gotta hit up Matt to make sure you got them. I also have this.
Anyway, everyone, thanks for coming. Make sure you do comment on this show afterwards.
All with Spawn variant covers.
With your favorite cover to be entered into next Tuesday's list. And, as always, don't forget, we had a great time tonight. Thank you.
For JB, this is TiVo. Keep digging in the long boxes. Peace out.
Tired of paying 10%, 15%?
Shake and make it, pull it back. Oh my God. Somebody show that weapon. Come on and get some, boys.
In the great hall of the Justice League, there are assembled the world's 3 greatest heroes, created from the cosmic legends of the universe. Their mission, to fight injustice, to right that which is wrong, and to serve all mankind.
Now that's a name I've not heard.
Laugh it up, buzz. In this, you shall know that the Lord is update.
Shake and make it, pull it back.
In this, you shall know that the Lord is update. In this, you shall know that the Lord is update.
Go on and get some, boys.
Heck, here's the deal. I'm the best there is.
In this, you shall know that the Lord is update.
What's in the box?